Okay, it is being recorded. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's in the recitation room or not. Don't use that number that I just gave you. I will announce the right number. But even if something happens really bad that we don't know, just show up in the sixth floor and we'll be there and to decide to get at least one free classroom and work from there. Normally at night there is not many classes during the night, so I think we will have a problem. But I always like to have a conformed room for us that is reserved to us. Another thing that I don't know if I mentioned to you guys before this or not, but most of the time I am like a workaholic. So I not only I have two jobs, but at night when I don't have anything to do, I keep working a few things. Like this past 2 days, I'm working your final project. So I'm working the final project. And while I'm working on the computer, I normally leave my Zoom meeting open. So that's what I don't know if I mentioned to you guys. So sometimes like you are like a Friday night or Sunday night or Saturday night, whatever day you feel like, oh, I have a question, and just go into the Zoom meeting and see if I'm there. I normally leave it open. So it's like that policy of office hours, the door is always open. It's what I try to do. I always keep it open. If someone pops up, it happened already twice or three times this semester. Someone just to join, oh, professor, you're there. Yeah, yes. And then we discuss something, and like after 5-10 minutes, we solve their problem, and off they go. So I keep trying to make it happen. Like I have the Zoom meeting always open, and sometimes goes up to 11 p.m. midnight. So if you have a question, just check it first if I'm there, all right? And then we can go ahead and work on your problem. Andrew is asking if the midterm will replace the this week's lab. I think so. The lab is not the midterm. It's not the midterm. Written midterm. How can I say that? It's going to be your project that I'm going to release soon. The midterm project is going to be your replacement for your lab. And I just wanted to remind you guys, pay attention. When we are dealing with like the DOM, like you're interacting with your page by clicking and checking and typing numbers and so there are two major things that you need to get it. One is you need to get the DOM reference, where that thing that you're clicking is located, or where that thing that has the number that you need is located in memory. And that's what we get from the document dot get element by ID, right? So this statement, it's very, very important in most of the GUI. Let's put like a GUI related applications that you have like in your HTML. And another thing that is very, very important is event listeners. All right. So these are the two things that you are going to use for your midterm project. You need for all the things that you're going to work on. You are going to use this get reference first, and then assign event listeners to them and take some action. Of course, when you click something, you need to do some action, and you're going to do those programming action in your JavaScript file. All right. So everything that we are learning here, basically, you're going to apply to the project that we have discussed. So, but I will try to go over the midterm project on Wednesday, all right? Or so. Wednesday we have the exam, right? So I don't know. I will try to do something at that point. Are you going to be proctoring the midterm? Leon, yes, I'll be there. I'll be looking at you guys very seriously. You're going to see them, that very strong, very tall man, beautiful, handsome. How to say, handsome guy. No, I'm very old guy, and I'll be there. I'll be proctoring your exam there for sure. There was a time that I remember I used to do this quite often. There was a time that I was teaching mechanics in Penn State, but it was a local Penn State. It was in New Kensington here. And there was like 100 students or so. And then I gave an exam for them to do it. And I knew that the exam would take like at least 1 hour and a half in terms of writing equations, solving equations. So I knew more or less it would take like an hour and a half for them to do it. So when it was like a 45 minutes into the exam, so I mean like a half of the time, I everybody was with their faces down and writing, and then I said to everybody very loudly, "Okay, 10 minutes to go." And you could see everybody turning their heads to me like a desperate look at me, and then I took a picture, and I have that picture yet. You should see their faces, how they were. And my wife said, you need to stop doing those things. They are going to sue you one of these days. So I stopped doing those things anymore. We have only multiple choice. Yes, only multiple choice. The exam is ready. For the ones that have this DRS, Disability Resource and Service or something like that, I have uploaded the exam there already in their web page. But please, by all means, contact them before, see how if you can do it, if they found it, and everything else. I provide my phone number then for them, so if they need, they can call me. One thing about the DRS is they do not do exams after 4:30. So if you are doing DRS in their room there, in their place, you need to go before, like at noon or so, and you can tell them that I'm fine with that, okay? Because it cannot be. I tried to set up like at 6 o'clock, and I got a warning message that I could not set the time for 6 o'clock. So I put at noon. So go ahead, just go there. But again, I strongly recommend you to call in advance, just to be sure. All right. What else? And that's it. I mean, again, the Zoom anytime during the whole semester. If you have a question and maybe at night and you feel like maybe Paul is there, just zoom in, log into the Zoom and see if I'm there. If I'm there, I'll be glad to stop what I'm doing and help you out a little bit. This is my open door policy for every semester. So just use it if you need it. What else? We are going to try to work a little bit more on the DOM topic. The DOM topic is important. That's why we are going to spend, I believe, like 2 weeks and a half. So it's going to be 6 lectures or so on DOM, because it's very, very important in my point of view. And there is a lot of information there. So we need to learn about it. And basically, as I mentioned before, things that are important is get references and then add event listeners as needed. And then you create functions that when something happens, you are going to execute it. For example, if you see my screen here, if I change the drink selection from all day drinks or all drinks or just after dinner or so, this is a reference for that drop down. So when there is a change, so I'm adding an event listener, and the event that I'm looking at is change. And when it changes, I need to update screen. That's what we are going to do. This is a function. So that's the way that you play with event listeners. You provide what event you want, and you provide the function name. In our code last lecture, Wednesday, the update screen was update and then uppercase S here, screen. can you modify that for me? Because remember, we decided to use underscore instead of update screen like this. Let me show you how it was before. Like this, we want to go back to this situation here. And we have the function update screen like this. Okay, so this is the first thing that you need to change there to make your program to run. So let's go back very quickly here in the drinks HTML. Now, does anybody has any other question before we continue? All right. If you remember in our HTML, what is this? View all drinks here in this line here, in between these lines, we don't have any list item here, and that's what we are updating, right? We are populating this with a lot of drinks, and we have already created that function that creates during runtime the drinks based on the drink requests, right? So we are going to create a list order, list items here inside, and this is done dynamically in the drinks.js in our JavaScript, right? And if you go, is this guy right here. This is populate multiple drinks area. That's the way that I call. And what we do a for loop here for all the drinks that we have created. However, I'm going to change this now because now we have a better variable to use. It's not all the drinks, are the requested drinks. Remember, now I'm selecting all the drinks that I want. It's just for the morning or just, before the dinner or after the dinner or all day or all the drinks. So this is just a requested drinks. It's just an array of drinks. And that's what we are passing here when we call this populate. So this is misleading now. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to put requested drinks. Control copy, Control V. And again, this is just an array. We went through this last lecture. We created this function here, and we are going to go in a second that how this function operates. First of all, you get the drop down. Remember, you have a drop down. Where is the guy here? Let's see if I can move this guy here. We have this drop down here, right? So this is the one that we have. Whatever we select, remember when we click it, we are going to run that function, but we can get which one has been selected. So can be our drinks, can be before dinner or whatever, one of those here. So this guy here, when I say value, it gives you the value of the selection. So this is the selection, and dot value give you the value that you have. So if you go to the HTML, what is it? Value is these guys here. You see these guys here. They do not necessarily meet. They are not exactly what you write here, okay? So when you check the value, you need to check this guy, not this guy. This is what you show to the user, but internally in your program, you're using value. And that's what we are looking at. We are looking for one of those. So we get one, for example, all drinks. And then we go back here. So we get, for example, here, all drinks. And then we are going to get an array of the drinks that has been selected. How do we do that? We use this specialized function here that we create that get drinks for selection. In this case, could be all drinks, could be before dinner or so. So if we go here, we get this guy here. And this would be, for example, before dinner or something like that. How do we do that? We simply create a temporary array that is empty, and then we loop over. So if it's just all drinks, so we already have an array with all the drinks that call all drinks. We have this already. So we just give the pointer that is pointing to all the drinks. We put this to this requested drink, and we return requested drink. That's very basic, right? Now, if it's not, imagine that is the selection here is before dinner, right? So what happened is, let me do something here. Put this here. Let me put this there. Here. So if it's before dinner, that is this guy right here. So that's what we get here. So if it's before dinner, so if this guy here is before dinner, so what you need to do is just loop over all the drinks. So you create a drink object just locally, and then you check the drink.type if it's before dinner cocktail. And if it is, then you push or you add this drink into the request drink that was empty. So you loop over, loop over, loop over, and then finally you return that request drinks, and that request drinks will have only the before dinner cocktail drinks in the array. So it's going to pass just like, I don't know, 3 drinks to that. So this function here, basically, go back here. Let's move a little bit this way. So this is what you get there. And then finally, what you do, you just populate the multiple drinks area. We are going to change this a little bit later on, but that's what we are doing. And basically what we do, as we discussed before, we create this dynamically, this part here dynamically. And what we do, we run over the requested drinks. So one more point that we need to change here is you're not looping over all the drinks anymore. You're looping over on the requested drinks. So don't forget to change here. Okay, so you loop over for every single drink. What you do, you create a list item, you get an image, and then the rest things that you need to do for this guy here. You need to create an image, you need to set attribute with the image of this guy here. We discussed about that also. That is this guy here, set attribute. So the attribute is source, and where the image is located is in source images plus the drink.image. This is provided for you when you create the drink object itself. Then you create H3, then you put a name and so on, and then you add then, and then you view. So this whole thing here is, and remember this guy here, that the last one, you are appending the list item. So what you have is here, you are appending a list item right here. So you have an order list and you're appending a list item. Everything here is in the memory. This is just a text. Don't forget about it. This is not what the browser used. The browser make a representation of this in the memory with the DOM, and you're just doing that. You know where this unordered list is at the DOM, and then you're saying append this new element that I just created. As soon as you do that, it regenerates the browser for you. So if we go back here, basically your program, if you made the changes that I suggest you to do, you should see everything here for all drinks. So it just generate this dynamically. So this has been generated dynamically. Now, one thing that you're going to see that is kind of an error here, or it's a logic error. Let's put this way. Is when I get another one, let's say, remember the before dinner, we already implemented. So it's like 3 drinks. So can you see here, Derby? Look at here, Derby. And then when I say before drink, look at that. It created 3 of them there, but it didn't remove the other ones because remember, we are just appending. Well, if you go to a new selection and you keep appending, you don't lose the other ones. You are just appending new ones. So how do I fix that?
If you want to replace elements in the list, then can't you just do like inner HTML and like use that or something?
Yeah, we can say inner HTML and just delete everything, right? So we can kind of clear up first, the items, and then from there we just add new ones, right? So that's what we're going to do. So let's see, what is it? So here, remember, I'm going to add in this guy right here, right? This is my unordered list that has already items, and I'm painting new items. That's the problem. So what I'm going to do, before this for loop here, before I'm going to set it. So here, remember, I just got this guy here, right? So copy here. And what we're going to say is, we are going to say any inner HTML, I'm going to set to empty. So basically, whatever is inside, all the children for this unordered list, I'm saying blanket it out. That is, I don't want it then from the previous selection. And then later on in this for loop, you are adding new ones as you expected. By doing just so, I think we solved the problem for that. So if you go back here, we have, remember, Derby is the last one. Now, if you say all drinks and go to before dinner, voila, we get just the 3 that we want. So great. And we can go back to the other one. So if you go back here and say all drinks, look at that, beautiful. We are able to do exactly what we expected. All right. Before I proceed a little bit further, what I wanted to do is I want to hide this part here, because either my application would show all the drinks or it shows a detailed drink, all right? So what happened is I wanted to do something with this guy here. Like if I'm in the view all drinks, I wanted to show this thing, but not this part here. And again, it is nice in like in a bar that has a big monitor or so that you can select yourself, because imagine that there is 100 drinks. You want to go first just for the look of the drink, right? So I like this purple here. And then when you click it, the screen changes to this one here and stop displaying this one. So that's what I would like to do. So for now, what I just want to do is, if I'm printing this in the screen, I want to remove the display of that one. All right, so that's what we're going to do now. So let's see here. Okay, yeah. So let me just give me a second here. Too many things open. All right. So what I want to do is, I want to know what is this detailed drink. So you have here detailed drinks, right? So what I want to do, I want to use this and try to hide this whole thing from showing. Okay, I don't want to show this guy here. So we need this detailed drink here. I don't know if we already have a reference for detailed drink. So let me just look at here very quickly. Drink. Okay, we are not collecting. Oh, we have here, let's see. We can try to create it right here. Why not? Let's create right here. So let's make it here. So let's say and then we are going to say again, what's the name of that? It's detail drink. And we are calling, let's say reference. And then we're going to say document.get element by ID. And then we are going to say detail drink, right? Okay, so we got the where it is located in memory, in the DOM. And now what we are going to do, we can copy this, just copy this detailed drink reference here. Control copy, Control V. And then what we want to do is remember CSS that we can say display something like display block or float left and things like that. So basically, when you're JavaScript, you can kind of use kind of a CSS style. And then the way to do it, you type dot style first to say that is a style. And then you say dot, and then you say the key parameter. So it's a display. And then the value you put between double quotes. Then you're going to say none. Oops. No. All right. That's what you want to do right there. So Control Save. Let's go very quickly here. And you see it completely disappear, that guy. The guy is there, but it's not being displayed. Basically, that's what you're saying right here. All right, so that's you do. It's a very simple trick to do it. Another thing that is important is when we go to this detailed drink, we want to make this all drinks block. We want to also display none for the top area, right? Because we want to just the detailed drink. And that is okay. We are going to do this in a minute. But what happened is if eventually you want to go back to the all drinks, you need to reset the display none to something else, right? To display like a block. So what happened is I'm going to do this here. I'm going to say every time I want to display all, first of all, the order really doesn't matter, but I'm going to say the detail will be disappear. That's what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do here is this view all drinks, this one here. That is the one, the unordered list that has all the drinks. I'm going to do the same thing, dot style, dot display equal. And in this case, I wanted to show up, so it's a block. When I go to the detail drink, these guys here, they are going to be flipped. The detail drink reference style display is going to be block, and this one will be none. But for now, this is what I need if I wanted to populate multiple drinks area. Okay? So everything should be okay as expected. So if you go back here, go there, and go here, we got it. Now we didn't finish this logic, right? So if I say after dinner, nothing happens, and all day, nothing happens. So we need to finish this. Let's try to finish very quickly this. Is this right here? So get drinks for selection. We didn't finish the else. So we just got one there. So we need to finish that, all right? So there is nothing much there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the code, and basically we can discuss it as we go along. Control copy. What is it? Here to everyone, Control V. Okay, what I want you to copy is right here where you have the, here online, in my case, 111, Control V. So we just add this guy here, this else, we add this part here. Okay. We need to be careful, it's missing a curly bracket. So I'm going to hit enter here and give a final curly bracket. So I create this additional curly bracket at the end. So finish the else. And now we are checking for before dinner, after dinner, all day. And again, the logic is the same. The only thing here is just, let's check it here. Yeah, everything is fine now. Okay. And again, the drink type now, we are checking for each different drink type. And if it matches, you are going to push that drink to the requested, and we are going to return. Just remember, if else structure is if this first condition here is true, it's going to execute only this line, and it's going to skip this whole thing here. It's not going to be executed ever if the first condition is true. If the second condition is true, JavaScript, as any other language, will execute only this part, only, okay? And it populate the request drinks with before dinner cocktail only, and then it's going to skip this whole thing here, and so on. So what you get here in the request drinks is just what you really want. Okay, very good, simple change. So let's go there. Let's cross our fingers and see if everything works as expected. Before dinner, look at that. This we got before. Let's cross our fingers. Should get just one, and we got it. And then here, I think you get more, like a 6 or so, and that's what we got, and nothing there. So everything is working. And I don't know about you, but I think it's wonderful with not much lines of code. We are doing a very interactive page already. All right. All right. What else do we need to do? Now we need to go for this part here, right? So I want to view all the drinks. Now I want to see one drink in detail, for example. Or, yeah, we can do that. Or the other way that we can do is if we click in an image. So if we have whatever drink you want, I like this one here, Casino. So if I click here, I would be able to, first of all, change this to view one drink dynamically, because the user click in the image or in the H3, it clicked there. So dynamically, I should request view one drink here and then update the screen. All right. So that's what we are going to do right now. So we are going to look at when we click the image, and then we do another functionality for this. So that's what we're going to do. So for us to do that, what we need really to do is we need to create a link for that thing that we just created, right? So let's check here. Go back here. We are creating this guy here on the fly. So let's go where we create that. So where we created is right here, right? So here we created. Do we have? No, we don't have it yet. So if I want to click on that thing to move to another place, what do I need to change here to be able to do the functionality that I'm telling you? I want to click in the image and something happens. What do I need to do here? Anyone?
You'd want to put a link.
Say it again.
You want to put a link tag.
Not a link. What else when we click has some action? What we just discussed today.
Event listener.
Yes, exactly. So that's what we want to do. Because if you put a link, then you need to put some the link normally has a H reference. So it's going to be a little more strange because you're going to try to send to another page. It's not what we want. We want to just work, take some action if something click on that, right? Now, if you remember, you can click just in the image, for example, or you could click on the name. And remember, so you could add like a 2 different event listeners for the image or for the H3, or remember these 2 objects, they are inside a list item. So what you can do, you can create an event listener for the list item instead. So that's where we are, right? So we are creating this guy here. So here we are creating the list item, right? And then the image and so on. So what we can do is right here in the list item element, And again, please, if you have any question, just let me know. I'm going to add an event listener. And the event that I'm paying attention is click, right? And let's say what we can put here, handle drink click, whatever. It's just a, or handle click event, or you don't need to have the own handle, but that's okay. It's just a function that, remember, this is not going to be executed right away. This is an event listener. When I click it, something is going to happen. So that's the beauty of it, right? So what we're going to do now is go for it. Let's create this function here. So I'm going to control copy. Let's create that function, control V, open and close. Okay. All right. So what we want to do here? So what we want to do is, first of all, it's kind of what we need to do. Should I start? I'm just checking if I should start with this function. I think this function is going to call 3 other functions. So I might do the other portion before. So let's see how we do this. Just give me a second here. Let me just think how we can do this. Let me, what is the update screen? Update screen here. Okay. So the update screen that we have, we are populating the multiple drinks area, but we really going to populate the multiple drinks area only if, let me go back here, only if this is set through this one here. It's being selected, all right? Not this one. So what we need to do, and if this is selected, we should get just one drink. So what I want to do is this guy here, before I go and blindly say populate the multiple drink area, what I need to do is I need to check if this is true before populating this as it is right here. So before I call this guy here, I need to do a check. So let's do that check, all right? So first of all, it's we need to get an ID. Do we have an ID for that? I don't think so. So where is the radio buttons that we're going to use? They are here, right? So these are the radio buttons. And basically, I don't need the labels. I just need the input itself. So it's this guy here. So we need to check if we need to find this radio button here. So I'm going to get this right away. So control copy. So I can say here, let put that, and I say reference at the end equal document dot get element by ID, and the ID is that one, right? So that's what we got. So I know where it is located. Now what I need to do is I make an if statement. I need to check, and every time I say check in any language is an if statement, right? I need to check something. Is an if statement. So what I need to do is I get this guy here that is a radio button object, and I need to go for its feature called check it. So this is an attribute of this object, check it, and this contains, it's like a variable for that object. It contains true or false. So if it is check it, then we are going to populate this guy right here. That's what we're going to do. Since there are just the two radio buttons, not 3 or 4 or 5, not just 2, then you can use the else here because it's either one or the other. That is nothing much more than that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new function called populate one drink area. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when we had the one drink area there before we display none, there were like two arrows at the end, left or right. So even though we are showing just one drink, it's one drink of, for example, before dinner, right? So what you could do, you could use the arrows left or right to see the other drinks if you are interested in see more details about one drink but in that category. So what happened is we are going to provide for this function, we are still going to provide requested drinks. Even though we are going to just display one at a time, I want to pass an array, then the user can play with the arrows left and right to see other drinks of this selection, whatever selection is. All right? So that's what we're going to do. So let's create this function. It'll be fun to create it. So go all the way down. So remove that for now. Well, leave there, because we already assigned that. So Java will complain if it is not there. So this guy here, curly brackets here. And don't forget, we are passing the requested drinks. All right. So here is that thing that I discussed a few minutes ago. Remember that we say that we are displaying none, and or block, depending on the view that we are. This guy is right here, right? We are displaying none and block. So we need to do the same thing down there. But I need the references. So let's get those references. That is this guy and that guy. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to copy all these lines, Control copy. Control V. Let's see, we can delete it here. We can delete the second line that I'm erasing the all drinks space because I'm going to say display none, so it's not going to show anyways. So I'm going to remove this line. All right. And okay, so I get the two references. Now I need just to flip. So this guy here, the none is going to be down here, and the block is going to be up here. So detailed drink is going to show up, and the multiple drinks are going to not show up. So that's basically what we have done here so far. Now we need to look at the HTML just to understand what is happening. So let's go back here. Detailed drinks, we are here, right? So we need to do something like that. So bear with me here. Let's see what we have. So we have an image that is already there. So differently from this other one, this is completely empty. You see that is empty? This one, by purpose, I'm going to leave in basically all the elements. And what I'm going to do is just get the reference for this one and then set the source to a different source depending on the drink. Then do the same thing. I'm going to get this reference, and then I'm going to put the drink name here and so on. So I'll be populating this based on the drink, one drink. But you see, I have a lot of ideas, so I don't need to generate on the fly H2, H3 images or nothing. It's going to be out there. So I just need to go for where it is located in memory and place the right values here. So that's what we are going to do. So let's go one by one here and let's see how we do. All right. Let's get some references here. I'm going to put this as a comment here. Getting references. So let's see. First is the image, right? So let's say here, one drink image reference equal document.getElement by ID. And you see how repetitive this is? So that's good, because then you don't need to learn many things, right? You just learn one small set of commands and you're using over and over. So I get this guy here. So I got where it is located. And you know what? I'm removing this, getting reference, image reference. Then what I want to do, this guy here, that is this tag, it has an attribute called source, and I want to set to a new value here. So that's what we are going to do here. So I'm going to still get this reference. Okay. Then I'm going to dot, that is a function called set attribute. And set attribute can be any attribute, could be the text attribute, could be alternative text attribute, can be whatever. But in this case, is the source that I'm going to reset, right? And what I want to reset is I need to put a resource where the figure is located, right? Resources, / images directory, and then plus. Now I need to put one drink image. If you remember, the drinks they have in the class, if I go all the way to the class, they have like an image file here. So I can use this field for a given drink. This is a blueprint, don't forget it. So this is not the actual drink. We construct the drinks, and the drinks are in that array requested drinks that we have. So we need to go, oops. Go here, where? Here, right here. So basically what we need to do is, if you have one drink, then we say get, I forgot the name, that was get, no, not get, sorry. It's going to be image file. That will do the trick. Instead of uppercase, let's put lowercase here. It's just one drink. All right. We don't have this object yet. This object is one inside this array. I don't know exactly which one is. Since we have not yet played with the arrows, I'm going to pick just for now. Just for now. We are going to say drink equal. Then we are going to say from this array, give me, I don't know, the first one, 0. So there is a lot of drinks here. I'm getting the first one from the requested drinks. So I got the first one. And then I'm saying for that specific drink, give me the image. Add these guys here, that is where the image is actually located, and set the source to that drink. Beautiful. All right. Next thing that we need to do. So we are just moving along, all right? So the next thing we need to do is, we did this part here. We need to do now this part here, that is the drink name. So same thing over and over again. I'm going to say here on drink, we are going to get the reference of what? The name. So one drink name reference equal document.getElement by ID. And then we are going to get the ID. What is the ID? Single drink name. Very good. semicolon. And then what we need to do is get this reference. Remember, this is just a H2, right? So Control V. Dot. The way to add text to H2 is text content. That's the way to do. And then what we need to do, we need to add the drink name, right? So again, I'm going to get the object drink that we have and then get the feature called name. And that's it. Beautiful. Let's keep moving around here. So next one is going to be, let's see here, the type before dinner or whatever. So what I'm doing here is going to do the same thing here. One drink type reference equal document get element by ID. And we have single drink type. We are almost there. So again, what I need to do, I need to get this guy, Control copy, Control V, very similar to the previous command. We are going to say text content. Now it's just a little bit more, we have more information. We have to add this guy here. So we are going to say here, drink type plus drink dot type. And remember, the type here has everything to do with the class itself. You see here type, I create that variable type. So you just need to be consistent. What you say dot what, the values there, the features, is what you put it here. All right, so don't forget about that. All right, almost done. Let's go for this guy here. Now, okay. This one, the same thing. We need to get this this guy here. So let's get this guy first because we need to populate this another list, right? So it'll be one drink ingredients reference get element by ID, and then we are going to get this guy here. Very good. Now here is the problem. No, not a problem, but we are going to face the same issue that we had before. We are going to add list items to this another list. So what happened is, if this is the second time, imagine that I have used the arrow to change the description of this detailed description to another drink. If we do not delete these guys from the previous drinks, what happened is your list items, your another list, is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because we are just appending. So what we need to do is, before going for a for loop here, I need to do the same trick that we did before. I'm going to say that the inner HTML, meaning all the children of this another list, I want to set to 0, meaning I'm removing everything before starting to populate it again. All right. Now, what we need to do here is, I'm going to go a little bit up again just to refresh our memory. The ingredients. If you see here is a split on this guy. So what happened is, ingredients is already an array of ingredients. So we can loop over these ingredients. So I'm going back again. Right here. And I need to loop over. So I'm going to say for let ingredient singular of what? That given drink, whatever drink it is, I'm going for that variable ingredients. And remember, this whole thing here is an array. So for each one of the ingredients, I'm putting here one by one in each interaction. And what do I need to do? I need to create a list item element, right? So we need to create it dynamically because we don't have it. And we learned how to do this before. We are going to say document dot create element. And what kind of element we are creating is a list item, right? And then what I want to do, I want to add the text to that list item. So it's going to be the same thing we have done before, is the text content. And then what we are going to add, we are adding one of the ingredients. So I'm going to put here ingredient. Now that I add this list, I create this list item that is floating in the air, all right? It's there, but it's floating there. Now what I need to do is I need to append this guy to this guy right here. So basically what we need to do is we are going to this unordered list, and we are going to say dot append. Yep. And then we are appending this list item here that we have. Control V. Doing so, doesn't matter how many ingredients you have, 10, 5, 2, you're going to create a lot of list items. You are appending to the unordered list. And because the unordered list already exists in the DOM, in your page, is going to update dynamically. As soon as you change in the memory, it's going to update what you have there. Oof. Finally, the last one is how to prepare. How to prepare also is kind of a list item here. We wouldn't need to be a list item, but I just put it there as a list item. But again, what we need to do, oh, stop it. We need to get its location. So control copy. So here we're going to do here is one drink prepare or whatever reference. Okay, and we are going to say document dot get element by ID. All right. And again, basically what you need to do is get this guy and put some text on it. And we have done this already 3 times already here. It's going to be text content equal. And we are going to put what? The drink. And that variable or the field call how to prepare. And we are done. This is dynamically, we update that field. Let me move this a little bit this way. So everything that is here should be replaced with those things that we have here. And again, look how simple it is. It looks difficult. If it's the first time you are seeing this, it might look like a complex, but it's not. It's just getting ID and then setting something, all right? Setting the text or setting an attribute, and that's it. That is nothing new from what we have learned so far. It looks like a big thing, but it's really like a repetition. You see every other couple of commands here, they are basically the same over and over again. So populate one drink. All right, let's see what else do we need to do here. It might not work yet because we might not call this guy. So let me double check what we got so far. So if we do this, yeah, we don't have event listener for these ones. So that's one thing that we want to do. So we need to have event listener when this is clicked. We need to to switch to the right place. So that's what we're going to do. But look at it's already kind of working. You see that you have Americano, what drink it is, the ingredients, and how to prepare. So everything is there. It's just that we don't have this still working properly. So let's do this. So what we need to do, we need to put some event listeners for these two guys here. So let's do the event listeners for those two guys. So where we can put this. So setup. So we have the setup here. We can here in the setup, we can, let's say, add event listeners. It's just a function that we are going to add some event listeners, and there'll be a bunch of them that we're going to use, but this is one of them. So here we have a function, add event listeners. Okay. And what we want event listeners for that all drinks or detail drink, right? So we can say here all drinks. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, we can make a global variable. Let's go use a global variable. All drinks reference equal. So to do that, first we need to get a reference, right? So we are going to say document dot get element by ID. And is this, what is the radio button? Right here. So it's this guy here. Control copy. Control V. And here we say what? We are going to get this guy here. Control copy. Control V. Dot. And event listener. And we are going to say change. And then when there is a change, we need to run a function. What's the function that we need to run? Is basically, I think that we can run directly the update screen, because the update screen, if you change it for our drinks, you're going to run this guy. But if you change for a detail one, you're going to run this guy. So I think if we call this guy directly, I think it's going to be more than enough. So let's try to do that. And if not, we can solve this next time. But I think that will do the trick. So here, change and put like that, Control V, semicolon. And we need to do the same thing for the other ones, right? So one drink reference is the radio button, right? One drink radio button reference equal document dot get element by ID. And then what is the ID that we are looking for is this guy here. Right here. So I got where it is located at the DOM. And then I am doing adding a event listener for that one. Oops. And change date string. Right. It should do the trick. I just am not sure if it is a change or is another name, but I think the event that we are looking for is change. So let's take a look. And okay, so before there, oh, we got some error here. So let me take a look here. Inspect. Console. Drink selection. What is this? It's Java 116. So let's take a look on that. Oh, we have that already. Add event listeners. Just give me a second here. Oh, sorry about that. We can remove this function because the function already exists there. My bad. And what we can do, we can get these guys removed from here and just put in the other one that we already have it. Here. Prove it. And even if it doesn't work, we stop it here today, but let me just take a look. So if I change for all drinks to before dinner, and then if I say one drink, it does. So that's good. So as we see, it goes, you see there, it changes from one to the other. Here we have the first one. Remember, we don't have the arrows working yet. We are going to do this next lecture, but we see the first one in this case as we did it. So if we get all day, we should have 6, and this should be the first one. So if you go there, you have the first one. So we are making this work now too. So that's really great. So the next thing that we need to do is this guy here, and do some small polish in this program, and it's going to be over. So that's what I was expecting. I was expecting to do some work on the DOM topic for 6 lectures, basically 2 weeks and a half, and not next lecture because it'll be our exam, but the next really lecture we are going to finish this program. All right. Does anybody has any final question? Everybody was so quiet today. Man.
Have you determined the room for the midterm yet? Or has that yet to be decided?
Say it again.
Have you determined the room yet for the...
Oh.
Okay, all right.
No, it has not been determined yet.
Right.
I asked the secretary again this morning, and she was on it, but she hasn't replied. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the lecture, is if anything happens that I cannot find a room, like they don't give me a room, we are going to just show up in the 6th floor of the Senate building, and from there we find a room that is empty. We just use that room, whatever room is. But I believe that by tomorrow I have a specific room for that.
All right, okay. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Roy, yes, it's up to the JavaScript. You're correct. What is covered, Sam, is again HTML, CSS, responsive web design, and JavaScript, all these topics. So 2 ways you can prepare yourself is just think about what it is, how do I use it, and what's the difference between HTML and CSS. Where do I use CSS? Where do I use HTML? Why do I need to use responsive web design? Things like that. So that's the important thing. Some syntax, like how do I create like a, I don't know, a rule in the CSS. Kind of you need to know, like if it's a class or if it's ID, use the pound sign or use the dot, things like that. So that's the basic thing that you should know. All right. Thank you, Sam. Okay.